Your work always tells a story. Let's have a close look.
Hello, welcome to Close Look. I am Daniel West Bay, your lovely host. For this episode, I am joined by...
Court for the win here.
So we're going to start with Courtney. She's a streamer. She has a podcast that's really cool. You should see it. I'm going to link it in the description below. Go ahead, Courtney. Courtney, tell the people at home who you are and what you do.
All right, well, I go by the tag name Court for the Win. I am a streamer on Twitch, and I also am the co-creator of StreamersUnknown, which is a community building team where we look for smaller streamers to help them get started. Also, that kind of is what the podcast is about. We interview small streamers to give them like a showcasing in a way. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
It's actually it's a bigger task than you're making it sound, right?
Yeah, it's fun. Like with everything that kind of goes into it is like to get the people on to the podcast and like just to kind of have it all set up is, you know, its own work. But it's gone pretty well so far. It's been over a month now that we've been doing these every Wednesday. So
that's amazing. I did watch some. It's really good. So we're gonna pivot a little bit and go back to the beginning. Back to the beginning.
Okay.
Where did you grow? Like, where did you grow up, and where are you now? Did your parents approve? There's just so much. I'm just gonna get started with where you were. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so I'm originally from Windsor, Ontario. Born and raised there, and then I kind of had gotten everything I could out of that city, and my brother had already been living out here in BC for a while, so I ended up moving in with him. I've always loved video games. I've always been a gamer. That was always my outlet, and like coming out to BC and then even having like Martin come out with me afterwards, we started off with a whole lot of nothing. And for like, I think we started off with only a laptop that we would watch like Netflix on because we didn't even have a TV. And I just remember having a couch, coffee table, and then the laptop, and then like a little lamp. That was like, you know, our setup for our living room. And as it kind of progressed, we finally got like a TV and a tower. So we were actually able to play more games that way. Or even my parents sent me like my PlayStation 2 and all that fun stuff. And I was able to kind of reconnect with my like gaming roots, which was nice because when I first came out here, I literally had nothing. But yeah, and then I don't know what it was. And I always try and like remember of how I started streaming. And the earliest memory that I have is like I was hanging out with my friend and we were both playing N64, and just like us talking and reacting to it was so funny that I thought, hey, wouldn't this be really cool to just like record and put it on YouTube or something like that? So that's how I started looking into ways to do that. And then I came across like gamer girls on like YouTube, which was just this guy bitching about these girls that are like boob girl streamers.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this streaming? And then he talked about Twitch, which is then allowed me to find Twitch. So it's like, I wish I had like my old videos to show you because it's so funny to see our very first stream, which was Martin streaming Fallout 4.
Oh, wow.
And I think that Fallout 4.
So
And
fun.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Fallout 4, yeah. And he's on the couch, and then you just see me in the background just mowing down on popcorn, and I'm just like watching him, and I'm trying to watch chat, but like no one's watching us. So that was kind of like the roots, and we kind of like slowly started piecing together a better PC. We bought monitors. We kind of changed the layout a bit to actually have a real normal looking streaming setup. But it just goes to show that you don't need to have that perfect setup to start streaming. So that was kind of how it started, was around there. And then Stardew Valley came out, and that was when my streaming career began.
That's an old game. Damn.
It's like 4 years old. So
yeah,
good.
that's old. That's old.
200 hours in it, you know, no big deal.
So Courtney she specializes in streaming games and being online and doing things live like this. So
Yeah.
we're gonna kind of fast forward a little bit because I mean I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the situation at hand. You know, has your scope of what it is that you do now, you're streaming, have you had to change or pivot at any point of this pandemic or no?
Um, like if anything, I'm able to stream more often. So the first week of the pandemic, I basically wrote down every day of the week what day I intended to stream on and how well it did for views, just so I would get an idea of when would be the best times to stream.
Hmm.
So, but other than that, like with the pandemic and everything, it's allowed me to put in more time and to condition myself to longer streams,
Mhm.
or at least to know when to give myself a break.
Them longer
So,
streams though, man,
yeah,
if I get into like 3 hours, I'm like you see me like I'm tired, I'm drained, and
yeah,
yeah. So
it's honestly, it's something you have to condition yourself for. Like, I remember I would only be able to stream for maybe 2-3 hours. Like, and the thing with streaming is that you have to, I feel like the best time to like for streaming is at least 3 hours. Two to two and a half is like the minimum amount, but you want to make sure that you're doing the 3 hours to more than that, because it allows people to find your stream. Like, because when you do a social media post, they might not be there within the first hour or two. They might come in at the very tail end. So the longer that you have, the more likely you're going to get more viewers and stuff to check out your stream.
I got a question then, real quick. So, is it because I've done some live stuff, but they say that the peak, like audience is about like it takes 20 minutes or so for people to even realize it and then come in. Does that correlate with you, or is it different? Just curious.
Yeah, like depending on the time of day, and then B, what social media outlets you've used, because I'll tweet that I'm live, and yeah, it's within the 30 minutes that I'll get some like viewers in. Or, with Discord, I have announcements where you can get like the notification that I'm live on, like there's like 4 different servers that I'm on that it'll pop up. So yeah, within that you'll get the viewers from where you've put in the announcement. But when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, I feel like it's within an hour or two, because not everyone always looks at those.
The feed is so long. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll like look and be like, oh shit. And then if you're not verified, then you can't do the swipe up option. So they have to go onto their browser or whatever and type that in. So there's like an extra effort, which makes it harder for you to get that viewership. But again, it's within that hour that I feel like is the most important to try and promote yourself. So
She did mention Discord. Now I know for many of you, you don't know what Discord is. Discord is actually, it's like you might be able to describe Discord better than I am. So I just want to give, because a lot of people are only familiar with live streaming platforms like Facebook or YouTube. Twitch is still very unknown among many people. But just give them a little brief description as to what Discord is, because we're using it right now. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, Discord is an area where generally gamers can all come into one area and talk, and you can create a community based on it, which is kind of cool because it, for example, I have my community, you join my community, and there's different subsections like general, places to put your memes, even like voice chat. So like if you see anyone in the voice chat, you can always pop on and say hi. It's also a way to like, video talk to people and even do screen sharing. So over this pandemic, I've played video games with my friends, based like just me playing the game and then screen sharing it so they can watch me play and talk to me at the same time.
That's amazing.
So yeah, Discord,
and it's free,
like so great. And it's free. It's like, and you can join multiple different like communities and channels, and then organize it so you're not like completely overwhelmed with like all these like notifications. But yeah, It's honestly great, and I can even go live on Discord without having to go through Twitch.
Oh, serious? Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I was playing Valorant and I didn't really feel like putting that on Twitch because it's such a popular game right now, and I'm not good at shooting games. So when we were playing it, I just went live through Discord so that only people that
Or in the
had me
group.
on Discord could see. Yeah, exactly. They
okay.
could just be like, "Oh, Courtney's live on like playing Valorant. Like that's cool. Like let's pop in and check it."
That's
So,
really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I just want people to know because I feel like during this pandemic, there's been a lot of businesses that have utilized and only. I feel like there's a lot of, oh, it has to be Zoom or it has to be Skype or you could
Yeah.
only do it on Facebook or YouTube. There's so many different avenues for people to be on, and so
Yeah.
it's important. That's why I think Discord. I honestly did. I genuinely did not know that it did all
Yeah,
this.
it's
So-
awesome. Like it originated from a thing for gamers to kind of get together.
Well,
but
so did Twitch,
with,
but
like-
now it's, you know,
yeah,
it's
well,
huge.
with my friends that like they didn't have Discord, and then when we wanted to all hang out and like have like video chats and stuff, like I know Zoom's gotten better, but like Zoom and Skype, like they give away like your IP addresses, or like there's like a privacy issue
And
generally.
privacy's
So
huge right now. So yeah, that's good. That's a good point to
yeah,
make.
and I've been DOSed or DDoSed before, so I'm so protective over like my IP address, and I have like my VPN protector or whatever. But it's like my
It's-
friends wanted to do. They're like, oh, like on Zoom. I'm like, no.
I also want to
I'm not
say
going on,
that
no.
this is a quick outside. Like I do a lot of things over Zoom. This is by far the best quality I have had over
Yeah.
over a internet connection for an
Yeah.
interview. So kudos to it. Okay, we're getting off
Yeah,
track.
they're great.
We're like Discord
Anyways.
sponsorship. No.
We're like, oh my god, Discord's great.
So, have you ever? We're gonna get a little bit. I want to know what your feelings were when you did start to stream. Did you? Because I feel like we live in a world where we want instant gratification, right? If it's not popular and perfect now, then I quit. I'm done. I'm out of here. When you first started doing live, going on stream, YouTube, whatever it may be, were you discouraged at any point of any of that journey?
Not okay, so not really, except that the first time getting trolled, that was like the most discouraging thing and frightening thing. But then the same day that I got trolled, I decided to stream again the same day, because I knew if I didn't, then I would never go back, because I'd be like, no, I'm over it. So I had to kind of push myself to get right back, like to stream the same day and to deal with it. So I'm glad, but that was like the only kind of discouraging thing. But when I originally started using XSplit, and so you didn't have like the two, I guess you really didn't have the two monitors, we didn't have the two monitors, but it fully captured the game plus chat and people that were watching you through Twitch, so you didn't need the two monitors. And it would tell me that I had one viewer, and I always just thought it was like this one viewer who decided to watch me, and I was just like, all right, goodbye. Like I would like say goodbye to this person, and I'm like, okay. And then I realized that I can check to see who was actually viewing, and it was me. It was me. So like, and I was like, I thought it was like one person out here supporting, but it was me. So I want to make a compilation of me saying goodbye to no one, because it was hard to just talk to yourself, or like to say goodbye and pretend that like you're doing okay. Yeah.
And you guys did explore this. I mean, it's no secret that you were in a film, a documentary of sorts.
Yes. Flash forward.
Yeah, so you guys did discuss that, and I feel like that's how I got to know you guys a little bit more, and I liked that you were trying to shine this light on women can be as good as a male is in this gaming space. And it was such a refreshing thing to see, because I've been wanting to do so, and I didn't know how to help that, and I feel like that this platform gives me the chance to highlight you guys, or you guys.
Yeah.
People. It's like you're a different race. You people. It's
Yeah,
women.
you people hug things.
So
it's
how did that feel for you to see that coming through and see the support that you're getting?
it exists, right? And the key, I feel, and I almost want to give this advice to, you know, anyone who's struggling, especially maybe females, that like don't focus on the bad ones, because you never know, like there's so many other people out there that will support you. Don't focus on those people trying to bring you down, because if you let them, then they're just gonna continue getting ahead of you. So you just gotta kind of kick them off you and just keep climbing. But that's what, like, I would say, yeah.
There's not enough people saying that on behalf of others. Like, there's not a lot. I've been in a lot of chat rooms for people, and once chat gets off topic or off track, it derails the whole stream. I've seen streamers like leave the stream, like they have to turn it off for a bit and then come back because chat is just all over the place and they can't control them.
Yeah, I've been one to just, for me personally, I'm a persevere, where again, if someone comes on and you know, says awful things to me to try and break me down, like, yeah, it always hurts, but I just keep going through, because to me, if I don't, then it's hard to get back on track. So I just kind of stick through it, deal with it, and eventually, if you just ignore them, they'll go away or they get banned, and then you just kind of have to like keep moving forward. So
what part of your personality do you think that stems from your perseverance and pushing through? Like, how does a person, you know, find their way to do that? I'm curious.
I feel like I had good parents that, like, I feel like they forced me to deal with stuff and to not run away. Like, they weren't coddlers, I guess, and they were.
So when you wanted to do this more seriously, I'd be remiss to talk about, you said your parents were very supportive. So was there any point...
They weren't at first.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was there any point where they were not supportive?
Well, this was when Twitch was popular, but it wasn't as popular, and I feel like I'd gotten into it like right before it kind of blew up. But I remember telling my parents, because they were visiting, and they're like, "What are your plans? Like, you know, you're working. Like, what else are you gonna do? Are you gonna get promoted?" And I was like, "Oh, well, actually, I've been looking into like streaming, and I think I might try and start doing that, and then maybe it'll be a job." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean? Like, how do you make money from streaming?" And I'm like, "People give me money. I don't know." And they're like, "Why would they give you money?" And I'm like, "Because they think I'm pretty. I don't know." Like, and it was such a strange thing to try and like talk to them about. And then and that was at the same time that Martin started doing the competitive Smash. And they're like, "Well, how are you gonna make money?" I'm like, "Well, if he wins, he makes money." And they're like, "Is he winning?" I'm like, "No."
He's terrible.
But then it was always something that it like, again, it was like a hobby for the longest time. And then when we did the documentary Smash Forward and they got to see it, I've never seen them like they were at the retro show when we first.
Okay.
Like, I think you were there when you had gone to watch it as well, and they were there. And I remember when the doc was done, and then we all walked up in front of the thing to take questions. I've never seen them look so proud. They were just like, "Wow, like,
She did
so
it.
this is what you're talking about." And I'm like, yeah, because the doc does touch on how it's not just about playing video games. Like, there's so many different avenues with it, like to be a broadcaster or commentator, or like kind of like the backstage stuff, or the promoter, or like the organizer. And it's just like there's so many different things to do with streaming. So they were just like, "Oh, wow." So it's so it was a complete 180. But again, I can understand they want the best for me, and they were at first, they're like, "Why would they give you money? Why would these random people give you money?" Like, it's just the culture of it, man.
Well, it's it goes back to that stigma, right? Where, you know, some of the ladies that do stream are there for that kind of
yeah, to try and get that that cash money. But yeah, I've never been one to promote myself that way. And like yeah, it's just, and I've had people that, you know, they're like, oh, you stream, I bet you get like so much money. And I'm like, no, I don't. I would rather just have people there than just throwing money at me. And they but again, the option is there when they do say donate or sub. Like, I am very appreciative, and it just shows that they want to support me, or they want to like help out as best they can. And it's like it means a lot. But again, just showing up is like, to me, is still important. So like, I would hate for someone to like donate and then I never see them again, and I'm just like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. You know, it's weird. Like some of these interviews have had a lot of. I've seen a lot of different kind of people, a lot of different, and I'm always trying to find the traumatic in everything. But you seem like a very positive person, so it's it's hard to find the traumatic. But it's great. I mean, not everybody has to go through all that stuff, and I think that that's one of the big takeaways for you that I've seen is that whatever the situation comes at you, or whatever, good or bad, you're making lemonade out of everything.
Yeah. It's like it's all about like learning how to react to make the most out of something too, because I know, like, yeah, you'll always get trolls, but it's how you react to them. And I have like the people that have come back and have become my followers after they've tried to troll me, and I've just ended up making a follower out of a troll. And it's solely because of how I reacted. You know, where a guy came on and he was obviously trying to troll me with like a game that I was playing, but I just kind of joked with him right back. And he just laughed and he's like, okay, I'll stay. And I'm like, all right.
Sometimes,
so it's,
they just want attention.
yeah,
sometimes.
it's, yeah, I feel like people don't think that they have control, but like, you have so much control over your stream that you can make it into whatever you want it to be. And it's within, like, in the palm of your hands. You can just make it into whatever. So,
but that goes with life too. It's the same thing. It's almost the same philosophy.
Yeah.
Of life.
Yeah, you have so much control over like any aspect of your life. Generally, I know some people. Yeah, I feel like they do. They just don't. They're. If people don't feel like they have control, then I think that they're just not aware of what they can control. So
that was deep.
I don't know. Right.
So, okay, Courtney, it's been fun, but we've reached that moment where now I give you the opportunity to plug yourself. If people, if you ever wanted to get into streaming, gaming, or even just podcasting, like we're doing right here, you know, she'd be a great person to come and talk to. So if they wanted to do that, where would they find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/CourtFTW if you want to check out my stream, or find me on Instagram, which is CourtFTW. Even if you want to check out the website, StreamersUnknown.com, I'm the admin there. So straight up, just like, if you even search Streamers Unknown, you'll find us on Facebook. Send us a message. I will be the one more likely to be the one answering. So if you have any questions about any of that to get started, just hit me up.
It's a safe environment. I know Courtney.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic person. I've grown to like her and her boyfriend a lot. They're very positive people, and we need more of that in our world. And they're very genuine. Which is also very. I've started to use that word, genuine. They're very genuine people, because I feel like real is getting thrown around wall to wall.
Yeah. We're definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it. We're gonna have you on again. I gotta have you on the podcast one day.
Yeah, I'd love that. Again, why not? Of course, I'd love to.
We would have to discuss words that we're allowed to use, but
yes. Just use like the big beep.
I'm gonna have to. No. Thank you, Courtney. If you have anybody who has a great story like Courtney, or something to show people outside of the box, please feel free to reach out. Go to www.closelook.ca. Phone number, email, it's all right there on the website. Please join us every Sunday on our Close Look Facebook page for Sweet Culture, hosted by me, myself, and Dustin and Alicia. And thank you, Courtney. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.